What's lighter than glass and 30 times more insulating? An aerogel. The first aerogels were made in 1931 by a man named Stephen Kistler. In simple terms, he extracted water from gelatin and found a way to keep its solid structure intact. These aerogels were very lightweight and extremely porous. Next, the French government had a use for aerogels. In the 1970s, the French government was faced with a problem. They needed a porous material for storing oxygen and fuel in rocket fuel tanks. Aerogels were the perfect candidate. The French's research eventually led to higher quality silica aerogels. Another advancement in aerogel technology starts in the Lawrence Berkeley Laboratory. In 1883, the researchers there made two discoveries. First, they found a way to eliminate TMOS, a highly toxic liquid, with TEOS, which was much less toxic. They also replaced alcohol with liquid carbon dioxide, which allowed them to use a lot less heat and pressure. Speaking of heat and pressure, it requires a lot of it to make aerogels. According to Science and Context magazine, using alcohol required conditions of more than 500 degrees Fahrenheit and 1,800 pounds per square inch. Using carbon dioxide requires less, but still needs a lot. This is one reason why they can't mass produce them. Another very important factor involved in the making of aerogels is money. From all the chemicals used to make them to the power costs for all the heat, aerogels are very expensive. They cost roughly $100 to make a slab just the size of a cinder block. Consequently, this makes mass production very hard. Why do they need so much heat to produce? This is due to the fact the surface tension on the liquid makes it near impossible to extract from the gelatin, without destroying it anyways. So they have to put so much pressure on it that the liquid goes into a supercritical state. When liquids are in a supercritical state, they have no surface tension. Once the liquid is in a supercritical state, it can just be removed with a vacuum. All this work may be worth it in the long run, though. Science and Context magazine says aerogels are the best solid insulators in existence. Due to this, some companies are considering making aerogel windows. It also helps that they are clear. As I mentioned in the beginning, aerogel is 30 times more insulating than glass is. Another possible use involved making a shelter that only requires body heat to stay warm. Unfortunately though, the way that they produce aerogels releases a lot of pollution, 8 times more than glass to be precise. But aerogels can also be used to reduce pollution as well. One of the things that is most rarely suggested is putting them between double-pane windows. A piece of aerogel just 1 inch thick can completely protect your hand from the heat of a propane torch. They also conduct sound very slowly as well. On the topic of radiation, there is also a type of radiation called Cherenkov radiation. This type of radiation was very difficult to study, but after the invention of aerogels, they were able to capture it easier. This led to easier research into this Cherenkov radiation. Another type of pollution is hydrofluorocarbons. This pollutant is found in the foam they use to insulate refrigerators. The thing that makes it a pollutant is its ability to destroy the ozone layer. But aerogels could be a viable alternative to this ozone-destroying foam. Aerogels have many uses, and one of them even involves energy storage. Believe it or not, they can actually be used to make a pretty efficient battery. On a side note, I just want to point out that how cool it would be to have a clear, body-heated house that's also a giant battery. I mean, that'd be pretty sick. Anyways, Science and Context magazine conveys that aerogels showed stable charging and discharging over 400 cycles and maintained its performance when the aerogel was compressed by up to 75%. Now, 400 cycle battery really isn't that much storage compared to today's batteries. But these 400 cycle aerogel batteries are smaller than the 400 cycle batteries that we're using right now. Understanding how aerogels are made and why they are needed can be crucial to their future use. If more research is done on them, then maybe scientists can find a way to mass produce them on a cheaper scale. If or when aerogels are mass produced, they can capture radioactive particles on a large scale. They can be implemented into refrigerators to reduce pollution. And lastly, their mass production can allow them to be used in supercapacitors for more proportional batteries. From a phone battery to a window pane, aerogels have the potential to shape the future.
Created using Powtoon.